Hey everybody, welcome to your Week 5 Ranks show. Per usual, throughout the show you will find my preliminary Week 5 ranks on a scroll. But as always, I encourage you, they are preliminary. There are tons of injury-related items still to be decided that we won't know about for a few days. Will Damian Williams play? Will T.Y. Hilton play? Will Devontae Adams play? On and on. So please check in at HarrisFootball.com for the latest. The ranks are updated there. Okay, in particular today, I wanted to expand upon something I talked about on Wednesday's podcast, which is a review of where we are at tight end at the moment. And then eventually we will do a little film work on the likes of Austin Hooper and Will Dissly. Where we are at tight end is that, as usual, the position has kind of deteriorated and left a lot of fantasy owners looking in the weeds for solutions. This guy, Travis Kelce, really is sort of beyond reproach. He's topped 80 yards receiving in all 4 games, and we can't tell you when touchdowns are going to come. They will come, but he's stuck on 1 score so far, which does not make him worth the second or even first round pick that you spent on him. The next 2 guys on most people's tight end list this summer, George Kittle and Zach Ertz. They, too, haven't justified their draft slots yet, though it's still early. In Kittle's case, he's only played 3 games. You're not panicking. You invested a very high pick, and you just hope things get steadier and touchdown heavier. I'm never going to be on board with spending what you need to spend to get one of these first few round tight ends for exactly this reason. They have to produce. They have to score touchdowns. But if you did spend those picks, you live with them, and you count yourself lucky that you're not scrambling week to week. Hunter Henry broke his leg. To this point, he's avoided injured reserve. It'll be a month that he's been out as of this weekend. Don't really know what his timetable is. David Njoku broke his wrist on this play, and he is on IR. The earliest he can come back is week 12 against the Dolphins, so they've certainly given us nothing. Jared Cook, I'm not just going to chalk this up to Drew Brees being injured. I think this is largely Jared Cook. 10 years in the league. Last year was the first time he felt vaguely reliable. That has certainly gone away. Eric Ebron, murder holes where his hands should be. I mean, on the box score, he's made it look good with a couple of touchdowns, but he's playing fewer snaps than Jack Doyle, has 8 catches on the year, and doesn't have good hands. Evan Engram has been worth his draft slot. That was a pretty good call. We'll now see Golden Tate is on his way back. I suspect that Engram will still be fine relative to his tight end peers. O.J. Howard, taken before Engram in most leagues, 10 receptions, the subject of much torture, many buy low speculation. We think he should be a buy low. I don't know. At this point, who knows? Hard to start him. Mark Andrews, the numbers look really good. I worry a little bit that it could be a house of cards with the Ravens playing 3 tight ends so much and rotating. These past 2 weeks, Andrews not playing that much. He's running about 28 snaps a game. These last 2 games, not against terrible defenses. He's stuck on 7 catches for 44 yards. Did get a touchdown last week, though. Darren Waller is really the one. He's essentially Oakland's number 1 wide receiver. He's been the waiver wire discovery who, if you picked right after week 1 between him and TJ Hawkinson, you found the right guy who can lead you for the whole season. Okay, after a quick break, let's dig deeper and talk about what all this means. This is a perfect time of year for Audible to be sponsoring. Of course, Audible has the world's largest selection of audio entertainment, including Audible originals like Bedtime Stories for Cynics from Nick Offerman, and audio books like, for instance, my novels. And the reason the timing is so perfect is if you get one of my books on Audible, you will become a person of the book. You will be admitted into our private Facebook group, and you will be eligible to come ask me questions via live stream every Sunday before kickoff. Start listening right now with a 30-day Audible trial. Choose 1 audiobook, like, say, one of my books, plus 2 Audible originals, absolutely free. Just click the link or go to audible.com/HarrisTube or text HarrisTube to 500-500, and you will get that 30-day trial. It's fun. Go listen. Be a person of the book. Okay, two other guys have emerged as no-brainer every week starters at tight end until further notice. The first is Austin Hooper of the Falcons. And you sometimes hear me say that Matt Ryan is kind of an android who's manipulable by the defense. Let me show you what I mean. Let's rewind this play and show you again from the press box. The Titans are showing Ryan a single high safety. Hooper's in the left slot. Julio Jones is split wide right, and Calvin Ridley is split wide left. At the snap, watch the nickel corner, Logan Ryan, and he will blitz. And two inside linebackers on the other side, on the offensive right side, will back off, and they'll play zone. What that should say to Ryan is, look left! The blitzer's coming left! You got Ridley matched one-on-one by definition, and your slot receiver, Mohamed Sanu, will either have man-on-man against him, or he'll be completely alone. I don't know. What it does say to Ryan is, get rid of it. Austin Hooper over the middle. Hurry. I mean, we'll take the yards, but the defense will extra take the ball in Hooper's hands compared to Julio or Ridley. Okay, let's look at this one. Losing by 2 touchdowns, fourth quarter, 2nd and 15. I'm not being critical of Hooper here really at all, but once again, I think Ryan leaves plays on the field some weeks that benefit Hooper, and sometimes that might not happen. There'll be other weeks where he actually will be aggressive and go to the other players. Once again, Julio split wide right. Hooper will motion from wide left into the slot. Titans will rush 4 and play zone, and Ryan sees this, and he knows he can get Hooper open underneath, and I guess he'll take it. You'll never go broke taking a profit, that's what they say, except down and distance-wise, game situation-wise, the Falcons need aggression here, and as the play develops, okay, if we go back to the beginning and watch Julio gets chipped by a linebacker, but the linebacker lets him go. It's man-to-man, and Ryan never even turns his head that way for Julio's deep out. Again, this is my point. Ryan is manipulable. And this is not an argument for you to not start Austin Hooper. He's had a huge start to the season. I think you keep rolling with it. No question. It's possible this continues all year. Ryan sort of taking the bait, staying away from his big guys. This is a scarce position. I don't know, though. It doesn't make me married to Austin Hooper if stuff turns sideways for him in October. I don't want to be intellectually dishonest. Not everything to Hooper is a check down. You do see seam routes, and they go for good gains, and we'll take them. And the same is true for the Seahawks. Will Dissly here this past week catching a little seam pass and taking a hit against the Cardinals. I guess I kind of did get enamored of this play with Dissly. I honestly don't think he's any slower than Hooper is. They're both pretty slow. I don't know. Here in the red zone. So he's going to be used in a route combination with DK Metcalf, whom the Cardinals had earlier in the game seen targeted on multiple end zone attempts. So, again, if we wind it back to the press box, we'll see Dissly in motion like we saw Hooper before, with Metcalf split, I guess it's the slot, but it's the wider slot to the left. As the play starts, watch the route combo. Against 4 wide zone in the back, all the way across the back there, Russell Wilson is going to let Metcalf clear out, running hard at both Arizona defensive backs standing back there, and Dissly runs kind of a flat and up. The right corner takes 1 step too many toward Metcalf, and Dissly is open for a perfect throw designed for him. And a couple weeks ago, twice against the Steelers, especially this first one, 2 touchdowns. I love the first one. I love the back shoulder. Dissly is covered. Then that's trust. Looking like Jimmy Graham there. And then the second touchdown, much more wide open. There's a little bit of hypocrisy in my being intrigued by Dissly and somehow turning my nose up at Hooper. I'm honestly not meaning to turn up my nose at Hooper. He may turn out to be better between the two. I just don't think the Falcons are their best selves when they're focusing on Hooper. Dissly probably is more of an ancillary part than Hooper is, I admit that, but when Seattle is focused on him, especially near the red zone, it's been part of their best selves on offense. And listen, I've basically given you 8 guys who, 1 month into the season, feel trustable for fantasy. Kelsey, Ertz, Kittle, Ingram, Waller, Andrews, Hooper, Dissly. For the moment, I think they're the obvious guys. And let's face it, about half of them weren't drafted to be fantasy starters. But if you don't have one of those guys, and therefore you're saying, I hate tight end, I say no. I mean, you're allowed to hate the position, but I still think you were better off waiting at the position because trust me, there will turn out to be other guys that quasi-emerge, whatever emerge means for a fantasy tight end. Blech. Maybe it's Chris Herndon. We just did film work on him on Monday evening on the channel. You can check that out for his film from last year. He'll be back from suspension in week 6. Maybe it's Ben Watson coming back from his suspension. Maybe the Patriots decide they need him to be more of a pass catcher. I'm somewhat skeptical, but you never know. Maybe it's Dawson Knox, the rookie in Buffalo. Certainly flashed pretty excellent ball skills on this one against the Patriots. It's a tough quarterback situation, but this grab signaled for my attention. Maybe it's Noah Fant. He just scored a touchdown for the Broncos. Or Gerald Everett and all that passing the Rams did, losing on Sunday, suddenly looked like an actual part of the offense, 5 for 44 and a touchdown. The state of tight end is dire. It always is. It's dire going into the draft. It's a frustrating position. But trust me, you can stream for a while. Keep trying, guys. Don't feel like you have to hold on to the ones who make you mad. And eventually, you'll probably come upon one who's okay for the rest of 2019. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.